So let's go ahead and get into it. And these 8 quarterbacks aren't ranked in any particular order right now. It's just the top 8 guys overall in the SEC from this previous weekend. And the first guy we're going to talk about is quarterback Bryce Young. And it wasn't a huge statistical game for him, but it was a very probably the best opponent any SEC team played this week. You can argue Penn State was a little bit better, but regardless, one of the best opponents an SEC team played this week in Florida. And Bryce Young was 22 of 35, 240 yards through the air, and 3 touchdowns. They got off to a real fast start. Young was real good against the blitz, and they did a good job kind of scheming guys open. There's a lot of space, and we're going to see in this play here, tight end Billingsley gets wide open down the sideline here, and we're going to watch this play here in a second. But Alabama did a real good job early in the game, getting off to a fast start. Florida's defense kind of kept them in check, but still a good game for Bryce Young. I was able to put his team in a situation to win the game, so we'll go ahead and look at this. And real quick, we'll say with Young, it was good to see him face some adversity, I think, and get to see him be affected by the atmosphere and by Florida bringing pressure. I think it's a good growth game for him, and he still did what he's supposed to do, took care of the ball, 3 touchdowns to the air. So we're going to see how motion here.
They think he's going to be.
Oop, let me mute that. Here we go. There we go. How motion here kind of confuses Florida's defense that allows the tight end to get so wide open. So we got motion guy coming in, or Billingsley was out here, came in this way. Now we got a guy going on motion here, and it's going to kind of confuse the defense here. Watch the safety, right? The safety and backer take the same guy, essentially, or the same area, and he gets kind of knocked out. But they're both going down here, and then this allows Billingsley to get wide open here. Young delivers a good ball. Touchdown, good job by Billingsley staying in bounds here. So again, Bryce Young, the number 1 guy that we're talking about now. So we'll go on and move to the next quarterback we're going to talk about in this video. Georgia quarterback JT Daniels was 23 of 31, 303 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Before we keep going, I just want to encourage y'all to consider subscribing to our channel if you like any quarterback-related content. We put out college quarterback and some NFL quarterback videos throughout the week with some breakdowns. Anyways, JT Daniels, again, over 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, yards per attempt right under 10, and did a good job against South Carolina here. They won 40-13, and this right here is where they started to really kind of pull away. It's a deep ball, deep touchdown for Daniels here, and it shows his ability for him and just the Georgia offense to take the top off the defense here, right? And so Stetson Bennett did get some playing time early after he threw a pick. It was all JT Daniels from here. Good deep ball here, again, showing the ability to push the ball downfield and just take the top off the defense. Good ball by Daniels there. So Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral, 23 of 31, 335 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, yards per attempt at 10.8. So good job to the air, but it's the running game that he did that I want to talk about, or his ability to run this game. He had 13 carries, 68 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground, so 7 total touchdowns. So what a game of Matt Corral. Again, it was against Tulane, but at halftime it was 40-21, I believe, so it was semi a game at halftime. Ole Miss was scoring every play, essentially, not every play, but every drive, but Tulane was doing just enough to stay in it. Second half comes around, Ole Miss is able to run away with it. So good job by Matt Corral there. Again, 7 touchdowns against Tulane. Tulane team that almost beat Oklahoma. So it's nice to see Ole Miss kind of pull away and win by 40 points. So here's a quick touchdown of Matt Corral on the ground here. Gates open up. Nice, easy job for a touchdown there for Corral. Again, 7 total touchdowns and 4 on the ground for Matt Corral against Tulane. Arkansas quarterback KJ Jefferson was 13 of 23, 366 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. His yards per attempt are right under 16, 15.9. And so he did most of his damage through the air in their big win against Georgia Southern. I say big win, their blowout win 45-10. And yes, it was Georgia Southern, but Arkansas and KJ Jefferson did exactly what you needed to do against this type of opponent. It was kind of a letdown spot, if you will, sandwich right between Texas and Texas A&M. So we're going to see a good deep ball here by Jefferson. Georgia Southern's in off coverage here. They have one up top safety as this safety is coming down. Good deep ball for a touchdown. Again, nothing crazy about Jefferson's performance, but it's exactly what you wanted to see against this competition. And hitting the deep ball is also something you want to see more of him in that offense, and he did a good job there. Ended up being a touchdown there for KJ Jefferson and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Again, 13 of 23, 366 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, and a yards per attempt average at 15.9. LSU quarterback Max Johnson, 26 of 35, 372 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. yards per attempt at 10.6. And yes, it was Central Michigan, but he did exactly what you needed to do against an opponent like this, and especially with kind of a pedestrian performance last weekend as an overall team. It was good to see them take care of business against Central Michigan and win 49-21. And Johnson did a good job here not exposing, but finding the matchups because there were matchups on every play, and his team had the advantage. So good job pushing the ball downfield against Central Michigan from Max Johnson. We're going to see a good touchdown pass here, kind of just a wheel route to the sideline. Good ball here, giving this guy a chance to go make a play for a touchdown here. Good ball there. Boom. Hell of a catch there, but again, good job by Johnson giving his guy a chance for a touchdown there. Again, Max Johnson, 26-35, 372 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception against Central Michigan, doing exactly what you want him to do against an opponent like that. Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers was 50 of 67. Yes, 67 passing attempts in one game, 419 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. So he actually played a pretty good game in their loss, 31-29. And this was a game Mississippi State should have won. There were several plays and instances in the game that gave it to Memphis. And I'm not just talking about that punt return. The opening drive, there's a fumble return Memphis picked up a fumble and returned it for a touchdown. There were times, Mississippi State was within the 10 or within the red zone and did not score. So Mississippi State, they moved the ball plenty, they just didn't finish. So, but Rogers nonetheless had a pretty good game here, 50 of 67 again. Here's a touchdown pass. We're going to see an out here. Good recognition by Rogers. Good accurate throw here. Something that he does well, right? Throws the ball out where the receiver can go get it. So good touchdown by Rogers. Again, the game Mississippi State should have won. They're going to go back and watch film and kind of be upset because they kind of gave the game in some plays. But again, Rogers 50-67. 419 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He did his job there. Florida quarterback Emory Jones was 18-28, $195 through the air and 1 interception. Also had 77 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown. And this is probably the best game that he played so far this season, even though the stats aren't crazy high by any means. But he did a good job bouncing back from an early interception that probably the ball shouldn't have been thrown. Yes, he was hit, but still shouldn't have been thrown. They were down 21-3, and he had his team in a situation to potentially win the game at the end. So yes, Florida had 245 yards on the ground, but Jones was still a big part of it. And when he was at his best this week was whenever they had some play action, some rollouts, some quick passing plays. He was still had some inaccurate throws at times, but still his best performance so far. So here we'll see just a good ball by Jones, good route, and good job reading the defense. Good in route here on a 2nd and 6 for Florida that kept the drive alive before half. We'll go ahead and watch a little bit of it here. Get open, see plenty of space. Jones does a good job here. Good ball there by Jones here. So again, Emory Jones, 18-28, $195, 1 pick, 77 yards on the ground, and a touchdown on the ground. So had his team in a position to potentially win the game at the end. So I know I said this wasn't in any particular order, but Zach Calzada, A&M quarterback, is our number 8th guy, and he was 19-33 for 275 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and their 34-0 win against New Mexico. And it was good to see him kind of bounce back from a performance he struggled in against Colorado last weekend and kind of getting a groove passing. And yes, it is against New Mexico, but you still like to see this good confidence building for Calzada. I believe their next game is Arkansas. I don't know if it's a bye week than Arkansas, but regardless, SEC opponents are coming up. Here's a good ball by Calzada. Shows his arm strength and ability to throw there on a dig route here. So good job by Calzada. Way to bounce back. 3 touchdowns, 275 yards through the air. So those are our 8 guys we're going to talk about today. But I want to hear from you. What do you think about these guys' performance? What do you think about these 8 quarterbacks? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on the next quarterback-related video.